Hello everybody, welcome to the Huddersfield Town preview show. I'm pleased to be joined by manager Lee Grant in our studio here at the EQ Stadium. Lee, a disappointing result last week. How's this week been? How's the mood in camp?
Yeah, no getting away from it. We ended last week really frustrated, really disappointed with the performance and with the result. But the only way and the next thing you can do is to approach the next week in the right fashion. And I've been obviously delighted with the way the group have come into the work on Monday, taken the learnings. Obviously it stings a bit, that's for sure. So we have to make sure we take what we need to take, we learn, we go through everything we need to go through, whether that's collectively, which we've obviously done, individually, again, which we have to do. But the way the group have approached their work, the energy within the camp, the intent around the training, I've loved. So that's been a great response from the group.
How do you find that these sorts of results manifest themselves in terms of mood and things? Is it almost, not that the lads need a lift, but does it give them an extra bit of bite in training perhaps? Is there something in there where there's an extra motivation to put things right maybe?
Well, what we've seen so far with this group of players is that it's a group with good character, and we were really careful about the people we brought into the building over the summer. So we expect nothing less when it comes to that. We expect people to be able to take the rough with the smooth and to be able to respond the right way when things don't go our way, which is, as we all know, over the course of a long season, things aren't always going to go your way. So being able to respond in the right manner with good attitude, good intent, good openness to learning and taking things on board is really important. We've shown that already over several points of this season. If things or a result perhaps hasn't gone our way, we've been there in the next one. So I'm always excited and looking forward to seeing the group go about that again in the right way.
It's an interesting one publicly as well, because we know that they'll be disappointing amongst the supporters. They had a lot of stock in the game and in the rivalry. But we've not shied away in what we've done this week, and I'm not saying that's ever in your nature either, but we've had long-standing commitments to visit a school on Monday, to meet with the Table Sports Club late last night. None of those things changed, and they're with you front and centre while you've got all these different things whirring about in your mind. Just talk to us, because I'm interested in knowing your input and opinion on that dual role of a manager, because you're the figurehead of the football club at the same time as doing all the work on the training ground at the same time.
Yeah, look, it's important. The easy thing to do would perhaps, if you're a player or a manager or a coach in these sorts of scenarios where you've had a result that doesn't quite go your way, is to shy away and hide and
take a rain check.
Yeah, perhaps Raj. And I think it's important to show the nature of who we are and the character of us as individuals and the character of this group as a collective, that actually we want to be and we want to do the things that we should be doing, whether that's in the good times or the not so good times, and being a realist about it as well, in knowing that things aren't always going to go your way and you're not always going to have it rosy and perfect. So you mentioned there this week's been amazing on that front for me personally. I've had an opportunity to go to Holmfirth High School and get a chance to open their new 4G, meet the kids, the head teacher, spend some time with him and the mayor, and that's lovely, and actually is an opportunity to bring you out of yourself. So yeah. That was on Monday, which was great. Yeah. In the rain on the Astro and watching the kids, and actually gives you an opportunity to go, that's what it's all about, and that's fun for me. So that's really nice. And also you're talking to a load of kids that are excited about the games that are coming up, and who's my favourite player, and what's happening with this player, and all of those bits, which again brings you back to what's really, really important. And then last night was amazing. So spending time with the Disabled Supporters Club, and that's something that I was really looking forward to doing. We've had some of those guys supporting us out in Austria. I've seen those guys away from home at Reading, and at Sunderland, and that support has been incredible. So the least I can do is go and spend a couple of hours with them on an evening at the stadium, and that's again fun for me. Got a really good grilling off a couple of them as well, which was nice. So yeah, that's great. And again, usually for me a Thursday night is sat in deep meditation over the team and the opposition. So that work was crammed into a little bit earlier in the day to allow some time for the Disabled Supporters Club last night. And again, a really welcome relief actually to some of the more intense bits. So yeah, really good.
It's nice sometimes and we find this with how caught up we get in games and the procedural stuff within even our jobs, to remind ourselves of what the football club is and what we mean to people externally sometimes as well.
100%. And I think, again, going back to being at the school on Monday, you get that opportunity. The kids all just want to speak about the playing squad and what's it going to be like on Wednesday, and how are we going to beat Burton on the weekend, and all of these questions which are just really innocent and raw, and it's great and I love it. And again, just being in and around the community this week has I've been thankful for that opportunity, because it does give you that perspective of what's important, which is really the football club, the bigger picture stuff, and people being in general really excited about what's happening at the place, and hopefully where we're headed this season.
Where we're headed is Burton at home on Saturday. Talk to us about the team availability, who's available, who's not, anybody back in contention, anything like that?
Yeah, so we've had a good week on that front. We've had Lyndon working hard to push himself to be, he's back on the grass, and Jack Watmore stepping up in his rehab. Mikel Miller and Anthony Evans the same, stepping up in terms of their rehab. Really nice to have Ben Wiles back available and training with us. We were gutted for Ben, and I was certainly gutted from a selection point of view not to be able to select him last week. He took a knock at the back end of the week in training, which I know Ben was super disappointed about. So again, nice to have him back around it, training hard, and a good week's training under his belt now. So we've made some good strides this week on that front. So again, plenty of bodies to select from, plenty of headaches for me in terms of who will be selected this weekend.
Burton are a side that got the better of us towards the back end of last season, and Gary Bowyer is a really experienced coach. Share with us your opinion on how this weekend's game is likely to look, as much as you're willing to. And I understand you've got a bit of personal history with Gary as well. Yeah,
so he's a coach that came into Derby County when I was actually in the academy there, finding my way through and trying to make my own way in the game. And when you are that age, you tend not to absorb all of the information that your coaches are giving you at 17, 18, 19 years of age, because you've got a whole raft of other things going on in your life, and you're partly just happy to be there and have a job and be doing the thing that you love the most. But what you do remember, and I remember very vividly, is a young coach in Gary Bowyer coming in and just having top energy and being an excellent human being. And there's not many coaches that you connect with and stay in contact with and hear from, and whose path you cross with post-playing or throughout your career. And Gaz, for me, has been one of those. He's been somebody that I've always bumped into, I've always stayed in contact with. I've always loved his energy. I've always loved watching his teams, and you'd put him in the category of top human being. So he's an excellent coach. He's a great guy, which is the most important thing. Never a surprise to me when he achieves great things with his teams, because I can imagine playing underneath Gaz, you want to play for him. And look, things for them currently, I'm sure they're not quite where they want to be. We know from having played Peterborough already, who are in a similar or tough situation, a tough moment, that these things don't last forever. Peterborough go on and get a fantastic win last weekend, and at some point Burton are going to go on a fantastic run, and they showed at the back end of last season they're more than capable, and Gaz is absolutely as capable as any manager in this league and the league above and below to to get his team going in the right direction. Our job is to make sure we prolong that for another week. We don't expect it to be an easy game, that's for sure. We expect this to be a really tough game with a team that are fighting and are working and have shown over the course of the last few weeks. You watch the Lincoln game, they play really well. They create good chances. I'm certain they'll want to take some of those chances more so than what they have done in recent weeks, but they're not playing poorly. Same as the Luton game. They've done well in the Virtue Trophy. They're not in a bad place. Results would show that they've got to start improving, of course, but Gaz is smart enough to make sure that his teams are moving in the right direction. So we know it's going to be a tough fixture this weekend. We're well prepared for that. But we're also confident about the work we've been doing this week and are really looking forward to the fixture.
It's good to hear. And the thing I wanted to end on was the reason why we're wearing these T-shirts that we don't usually have on is we've talked about it a lot in the past few weeks and months, the Walk for Dennis that's coming up, the effort that the club are making, as we do each year, for a chosen charity, this year the Alzheimer's Society, in memory of one of our greatest ever players in Dennis Law. Long before you guys turn up to the stadium, there'll be 120 plus people trekking from the Etihad to here before we kick a ball. I just wanted your thoughts on that effort that's being made, but also the fact that people are willing to do that, the selflessness of that sort of a task, and the importance of, like we said before, the club using the platform and stature we have to further important causes.
I just think it's outstanding. People willing to put that level of physical effort in to raise money and awareness for really important charities, and of course for one of our own who, it's a well-worthy cause, most definitely. I just love the fact that people are willing to put themselves out there and do that. So full credit to them. Delighted that we have a football club that cares and that wants to put the time and effort into making sure that we're giving the light and the airtime to these causes, because that's really important as well. And yeah, look, for me personally, just delighted, and I think it's an outstanding achievement for everyone that's setting out on that. Hopefully they all make it the whole way. But even the intent to get started on that at 2 a.m. in the morning, with that big journey ahead of you, well played you. So yeah, outstanding work from everybody that signed up for that.
Full details on how to donate and be in your seats early to clap them round ahead of kick-off is all on our website. But Lee, thank you so much for your time again, and best of luck this week.
Cheers, Raj. Thanks.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm pleased to be joined by defender Lasse Sorensen. Lasse, we'll talk about your season as a whole in a second, but similarly with how we have with the manager, how's the week gone for you guys as a group since the weekend?
It's been good. I think it's been productive. Again, we've had a full week of training, which hasn't been much this season, so I think we've got a lot of good work in it, and a lot of tempo, and yeah, it's been enjoyable. Obviously, we got the game from the weekend out of the way on Monday, saw everything through that we had to do, and learned from it and moved on, and then yeah, it's been a good week. Yeah.
What's that process like? We've talked to the manager about this, about how you guys analyse games and go through results and moments. What's that like for you as a player? Is that a process you get a lot from? Is that what you do enjoy, that open communication? Yeah,
100%. I think it's pretty set in terms of what we do, whether we win or lose. Is you come in on Monday, you digest it, then you go through. See what you did well, see what you did bad, what can you learn from, and everything, like just as taking the emotion out of the game and look at it in that way. And I think we did that, and obviously quite importantly, we did after Saturday as well. But it makes it sort of, when you do that and have done it, then you move on, and then it's focused on the week and what's coming ahead. It's quite a good way to do it.
How's the week been then with training and everything? Has there been a little bit of extra desire, a little bit of extra bite in training? How do those emotions come out? Because I know you guys, seeing you after the game at the weekend, there's a bit of disappointment, a bit of frustration. Do you use that energy positively?
I think so, yeah. I think it's been, I know it's an easy thing to say, but I think it's been a really good week of training, and I think it's one of them where when you have a result and experience how it was on Saturday, you're sort of looking forward to come in on Monday, and you don't look forward to the meeting, but when it's then out the way, you've digested, and then you sort of move on. It's like, I guess you're ready to go again, do you know what I mean? A bit more bite about. And I think but I think whether we win or lose, our sessions are really good. I think there's always good intensity, always good quality and intent to do well, and it hasn't been any different this week. Yeah.
How have you found working with the new coaching staff and the manager? We haven't had the chance to speak to you yet this season in a preview show. We've seen a lot of really positive performances from you. We've seen you a bit of smiling on the pitch, feeling a little bit more confident, looking more happy in yourself. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, no, I feel good. I'm happy, which is probably the main thing to do when you play football. I mean, otherwise it's quite hard. But no, I'm really enjoying it. I think I've enjoyed it since I came in the first day of pre-season. Came in with a bit of a mindset of showing who I am and what I've been doing for a long time, and probably not towards the end of last season, which, I mean, football as well, but just coming in with a mindset of enjoying it, be happy and do as well as you can. And then I really enjoyed working with obviously the gaffer and the coaching staff and the new players and the whole new environment, which has been something I really enjoyed. Obviously, without going too much into a style of play and everything like that, I'm just enjoying it, trying to do as well as I can. And when you're enjoying things, you usually tend to, do a bit better, not better, but just enjoy it more.
Of course, I think that's true with everybody in all walks of life, isn't it? If you're feeling like you're getting something out of it, then you put more in. But for you in particular, with the focus on attacking styles, the focus on getting forward, especially from wide areas, that seems to be something that you're showing fruits on in your game personally.
Yeah, no, it's obviously I like to run up and down the line. I like to go forward, but obviously I also like to defend. And I think defending is obviously when you sort of know what you're doing as a whole team, it makes everybody's jobs easy. And I think we've really done that quite well, like this season, doing it as a team. I think obviously we have had a few away games where there's been too many goals for a lot of reasons, but on the whole things, I think we're looking really good and solid defensively. And then, as you said, then the way we're playing, it allows me to run forward, which is really sort of my game, coming from deep and up and down and a lot of energy. So yeah, just got to keep doing that, you know what I mean? And have focus on just doing that.
There's been a lot of new faces, like you say, this summer. You were one of the new faces last summer. Mm-hmm. You're probably one of our longer serving players at this point.
There you go, yeah.
How's it been working with the likes of Lyndon and people who similar sort of areas of you on the pitch? We know about the fact that the manager likes to rotate when he can and introduce new people and fresh legs. Is he somebody you've been learning from, Lyndon? Is it the relationship good between you guys? Because when we spoke to him, he said whenever Lasse plays, I'm his biggest fan. Whenever I play, he's my biggest fan. That sounds like a healthy place to be.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you mentioned there, I think it's not just, let's say, me and Lyndon or whoever. I think it's the whole squad. I think, as you've seen, there's been a lot of rotation. There's been, and it's not shying away, like we're a big squad with a lot of good players that want to play. Do you know what I mean? So I think we all know that we will play, but when you're not playing, you're probably supporting more, or do you know what I mean, like that dynamic instead of being two. You know, you get in and play again and things like that. So it's just about learning from each other and also push each other, because there's, I mean, that's the other side of it, that you want to perform as well as you can, because you know there's somebody that want to play or whatever, like, or if somebody else is playing, you want to get in there and play. So it's the competition as well, and I think it's been really good squad-wise. I think everybody has been good in on that side of things. So yeah, we've got to keep it going, because it's still early on, so there's a lot of games. But if you can keep going, I think you will see the positive thing of it later on.
Good. I don't want you to give me the game plan or anything like that, because we don't know who's watching. But how are you guys feeling about Saturday? How are you feeling about Burton Albion?
Good. As I mentioned a little bit, obviously last Saturday was a big disappointment in terms of we really want, like, we went there and we know it was a big game. We know we really wanted to win, especially for the fans and everything like that, and it didn't go to plan for. So we've been obviously a bit annoyed by that. So we're really eager to go and put it right against Burton. And some of us that was here last season know last time we played Burton wasn't that great either. So there's a lot of things going into the game like that. But no, we're ready. We're looking forward to it. We've obviously done all the work on them and us, like we always do, today and earlier in the week. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Good.
It feels like you're obviously settled last season. You've been here a while, but you feel a little bit more like you're sure of your place at Huddersfield Town at the moment. You getting older probably helps you. I know you're a deep thinker. You spend a lot of time in your own head sometimes. Just talk to us about how you go about that, because you're still a young guy from Denmark who's doing something completely different away from his family. I know you've been here probably as long as you've been in Denmark at this point. Yeah. but there are still elements of that people don't see of you as a human being as well. On top of that,
no, yeah, I think the longer you are at a place, the more you sort of get into the rhythm of how everything is worked. Like, it's the classic saying when you're new, there's a lot of new things, and of course there's, but it's always easy to look. Now I sort of know the dynamic of how the club works, match days, how, do you know what I mean? You're just in the flow of everything, so that obviously helps you to just relax a bit more in the environment you're in. Especially with me as well, I tend to think a thought or two sometimes. So it's it's been good. I'm knowing everything, things like that now, so I'm a bit more settled. And then there's the other side of obviously football. Yeah, I live here on my own with my family and my girlfriend living in Denmark. And but obviously they come over and speak to them every day and things like that. But so yeah, when it's so sometimes when you're not winning, it's not the most fun thing to go home and just thinking, oh, I should have done that. But it's a part of it. Listen, it's a part of being a footballer, and I also think it's a good thing because it makes you focus more on things like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I've done it for 10 years now. So yeah, I'm used to it.
One of the things that you do to fill your time, because I think it's important to you, having spoken to you before, is the community work that you do here, the stuff that you do with the foundation and what have you. And the reason we're wearing this t-shirts is because of the charity walk we're doing this weekend for the Alzheimer's Society and our foundation in memory of Dennis Law. With the fact that, you know, there's over 100 fans walking from Manchester to Huddersfield before we even kicked off, that's the sort of thing that you, as much as anyone, show interest in and kind of want to know about and learn about and why we're doing it.
Yeah, no, obviously I think it's great. I think it's a great cause, first of all, with the walk for everything like that. It's brilliant. But I think it's not just something to say, but I think it's so important for community in a football club because it makes it a bit more tight as a unit, you know what I mean? And it's more, if we're involved, other things are involved, it gets everybody to know each other a bit more. I know everybody sort of can see us on a Saturday playing on the pitch, but if we go out and let's say we go to somebody's training at night or to a school and to like everything like that, it just not normalised, but makes everybody knowing the personality behind the player and things like that. So I really enjoy that, and obviously with the course what we're wearing here is obviously great and something we love to support at Huddersfield.
Perfect. When you come out of the weekend, just make sure you give the people grabbing a lap of honour a clap for us before you kick off.
Yeah.
Lasse, thank you very much for your time. There's still tickets available on Saturday for our home game against Burton Albion, and we'll see you down at the ACU.